Okay, now let's talk about this time some of the EOC questions or questions that are similar to your EOC. And here we have Bob and Daryl, and they're playing a game. Now both Bob and Daryl have 4 points to start the game. Now once again, in dealing with word problems, the first step that you need to do is to make sure you read it at least twice. Read the problem at least twice. So I'm going to give you a time, pause, if you need more time, just pause the video, read the problem again at least twice, and then I can help you after reading the problem, then I'll go ahead and help you solve the problem. Go ahead, please pause the video this time. Okay, now once again, if you do not read the problem, then, and if you don't understand the problem, then you're not going to be able to answer the problem. So here we're talking about Bob and Daryl. So I'll go ahead and make a table for Bob and Daryl's points. Okay. Now, according to the problem, they both started with 4 points. So Bob has 4, Daryl has 4 as well. Okay. Now, at the end of each turn, Bob's points are doubled. So that means for the second turn, this 4 will become, if we double it, becomes 8. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. 32 times 2 is 64, blah blah, and so on. Now, how about Daryl's point this time? At the end of each turn, Daryl's points are increased by 10. So that means here, we'll just add it by 10, becomes 14. Add by 10 becomes 24. By 10, 34. This is 44, and so on. And then 54, and so on. Now, here's the deal. Go back to the question. At the start of which turn will Bob have more points than Daryl? At the start of which turn will Bob have more points than Daryl? Because if you notice here, Bob points, okay, is lower than Daryl. So, but they both start with 4, but for the second turn, so I can say that this is the first turn, second, third, fourth, and then fifth. Okay, they have the same. Bob's is lower, 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 still lower, but during the fifth turn, Bob now has 64, while Daryl has 44. So we can say that at fifth turn, Bob will have more points than Daryl. So the answer is fifth turn. Okay. So that's about it. Next, how about, okay, this one. See. Okay, how about this one? Go ahead, read the problem first. The table below shows the average height of a tree and the amount of years that it has been growing. Here for the time, we got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years. And here are the heights, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15. Here's the question, what is the average rate of change in height of the tree from year 10 through 14? Now, Average rate of change, average, so that means we can add them and then divide it by the number of data. But for the rate of change, all you have to do is to just basically subtract the previous from the present. So let's say this one. Okay, so let's say we have, okay, here. So we subtract them, subtract. Here we go. So 8 minus 7 is going to give us 1. 10 minus, that's right, and then 10 minus 8 is 2, and then 10 minus 12 minus 10 is 2, and then 15 minus 12 is 3. And now that we have the rate of change, 1, 2, 2, and 3, we can go ahead and get the average. Now again, to get the average, you add the numbers and then you count how many numbers you added. So here we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have to add 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 divided by 4. So 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus, so that would be 3, 6, 7, 8. 8, and then divide by 4. The answer is 8 divided by 4 is 2. So the average rate of change is 2. Okay? You can, once again, if you did not get it, just pause the video, just go back and make sure you master how to solve this kind of problem. Now, go ahead, pause the video again and read the question. Now, in this problem, first you have to identify, if there are two names, then you have to write, name A or B. But here we got company A and then we have company B. So, so we can go ahead and just write A and B. Okay. Now, according to the problem, the internet company A charges $10 a month. So, $10 per month. So that's times X, where X represents the number of months, plus 0.01 per minute. So how about this? Per minute. Okay, per minute. Let's say minute. Okay, now how about company B? Company B charges company B charges 0.05 per minute. Okay, what function represents the difference in cost between A? Okay, let's say we're talking about just one month. So let's erase that one. Okay. So this time we can go ahead and, because I erased that because if we're talking about just for 1 month, so we represent X by 1, so 10 times 1 is basically 10. So now what function represents the difference? That means we subtract the cost between A and B. So subtract these two. So if we subtract these two, it will become, okay, so if you want, it will become this minus this gives you 10 plus 0.01 m minus 0.05 m. And now because these two are like terms, it will now become 10. Okay, now these two need to be combined because they are like terms. Now using your calculator, you'll press 0.01 minus 0.05, it will give you minus 0.04 m. And this is going to be the cost. Okay? This is now the difference of the cost between A and B. Okay? How about here? Okay, this is really easy. The answer is, what do you think? So 15. Now, which number here will get the x? Now, we learned that, okay, we learned that if you see the word per, that means that number will get the x. So in this problem, the cost of a class field trip is $15 per person. So $15 per person, and then plus the $50. Okay? So that means the answer would be B. Next. Okay, now what is the value of G? You gotta remember, we learned in this class that if the number is inside of the parentheses, then we have to put it inside of the x. Now to solve this problem, see that -1, and that's inside. That means you're gonna put that -1 inside of x, and then plus 12. And now you have 3 times -1 is -3, plus 12. Using your mental math or calculator, it will be -3 plus 12 is 9, is the final answer. Remember, here you got -1 inside, so you have to plug it in the inside of x, or in x. Okay, here we go. Now this time, where do you find the number 10 this time? Is it outside or inside? Okay, it looks like 10 is outside of the parentheses. So we can go ahead and put the 10 outside. And now we can go ahead and solve for x by moving 12 over, becomes plus 12, becomes minus 12, and now you have 3x on the right side. But wait, 10 minus 12 is -2. But if we're solving for x, we need to get rid of that 3 by dividing both sides by 3. Now you have x is equal to -2 over 3. And this is the final answer. -2 over 3 is the value of x. Okay, now, if you are using a calculator, if you are using a calculator and this question is in calculator active, what you need to do is to just press y equals in your calculator, and then type in x minus parentheses blah 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 and so on, and then look at the graph, and it's gonna be easier for you to figure out which one of the equations here represents the graph, the table here. So for example, again, using this Texas Instrument TI-83 plus, you press the y equals, and then you type in, let's say, let me try x minus parentheses -11, and then second, and then table, second in the graph. For -2, I must get, we'll see, I must get 9. For -1, I must get 10. Nope, so definitely not this one. Not this one. Okay, let me go back to y equals. Let me try 4x plus 6. and then second, and then graph, because I'm looking for the table. Now I have -2, I must get 9, but here -2 and -2, no. So, no, -2, no, not this one. Okay, next, -7, x minus 5. I hope you have a calculator there. You can use your calculator on your computer and then figure this out also. Try this. Second, and then graph, -2, 9, and then -1, 2, and then for +2, you have, I have 19 also, and then for +3, I've got -26. So here we go. This is the final answer. Now, what will you do, okay, if you're not using a calculator? So here, we know that these numbers are the x values and these numbers are the y values. What you need to do is, let's pick this one. Let's pick -2 and 9. So here, if we use this formula, y equals -7 per, x minus 5, using that formula, the value of y in here will be 9, and then -7, parentheses, the value of x is -2. Okay? So, by using this formula, -7 times -2, to simplify -7 and -2, you're going to get positive 14 minus 5. Now, it looks like 14 minus 5 is equal to 9. So they're both equal. So I can say that that's correct. Now, how about if I use -2 this time? I'm sorry, -1 and 2. So using the formula, y is, what's the y? Y is 2 equals, -7, parentheses, -7, your x is, our x here is -1, and then minus 5. And now using the formula, this part, negative times negative is positive 7 minus 5, and now we have 2 equals 2. Because the equation is equal, then we can say that C now, y equals -7x minus 5 is the equation that represents this table. So the answer will be C. Okay, now let me try this one. Let me try this. How about if I use, let me erase this one. Okay, how about if I use this? So y, and I use the second one. So y is 2 equals -3 times the x is -1, because I'm using, again, this, I'm using that one. So minus 5. Let's try this. 2 equals negative times negative is positive 3 minus 5. 2 is equal to -2. No, 2 is not equal to -2. That's why this is not the equation for that table. Now, this is going to be super easy. Again, for this problem, our job is to find the next. What would be the next numbers? So that's our job. Now, given the number now, which is 7, you just plug it to now, and that would be 70 minus 2 divided by 2, and that's 68 divided by 2 is 34. Okay, so now we have 34. Now our new number now to find the next number is 34. So 34 minus 2 divided by 2. So again, this will be replaced by 34 minus 2 divided by 2. Here we go. This becomes 32 divided by 2, and now I have 16, blah blah, and so on. this is how you find the next numbers given the number 7 as the number now. Okay, that's about it, guys. Good luck.